Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows when the world goes quiet? What secrets the ancient forests keep after sundown? Tonight, we journey into one such place, where a young man's quest for courage led him to a truth far more terrifying than any tale he'd ever heard. The village elders often spoke of the forest that bordered their homes, a place where the air grew heavy and the trees seemed to hold their breath. But for Mohan, a boy on the cusp of manhood, these were just stories, whispers meant to keep children in their beds. He was determined to prove them wrong, to show everyone that he was no longer a child who feared the dark. So, one moonless night, with only a flickering lantern in hand, he stepped off the well-trodden path and into the embrace of the woods. The air inside the forest was immediately different. It was cold, carrying a damp, earthy scent that clung to his clothes. The wind, which had been a gentle breeze in the village, now seemed to slither through the branches, carrying hushed, indecipherable whispers. Mohan's initial confidence began to waver. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves, sounded like footsteps just behind him. He quickened his pace, the beam of his lantern dancing nervously across the gnarled trunks and twisted roots that seemed to writhe in the darkness. The shadows themselves were alive, stretching and shrinking like living things, playing tricks on his eyes. Was that a figure standing by that ancient banyan tree, or just a trick of the light? He told himself it was his imagination, his mind conjuring fears where there were none. He ventured deeper, the familiar sounds of the village completely swallowed by the oppressive silence of the forest. That's when he heard it, a sound that was not the wind, not an animal. It was a voice, a woman's voice, drifting through the chilling air. "Is someone here?" he whispered. The voice was faint, yet it felt impossibly close, as if it had been spoken directly into his ear. It was a hollow, mournful sound, filled with an ancient sadness that sent a shiver straight down his spine. Mohan's heart hammered against his ribs. He froze, straining his ears, praying he had imagined it. But the whisper came again, closer this time. "Who is here?" Against his better judgment, a mix of fear and a desperate need to understand compelled him forward. He clutched his lantern so tightly his knuckles turned white, its golden light a fragile shield against the encroaching dark. He took a few hesitant steps, peering into the inky blackness ahead. And then, he saw her. Standing in a small clearing, bathed in the ghostly moonlight that managed to pierce the canopy, was a figure, a woman, draped in a simple white sari. Her back was to him, her long dark hair obscuring her face. A wave of relief washed over Mohan. Perhaps she was lost, another villager who had strayed from the path. He opened his mouth to call out, to offer help, but the words caught in his throat. Something was terribly wrong. As his eyes adjusted, he noticed a detail that made the blood freeze in his veins. Her feet. They were turned completely backward, her heels facing forward. Before he could process this impossible sight, she began to move, but she didn't walk. She glided, floating an inch above the dead leaves and soil, her form drifting toward him with an unnatural silent grace. The air grew impossibly cold. Then, she slowly turned. Her face was pale, almost translucent, but it was her eyes that held him captive. They weren't human eyes. They were two burning red embers, glowing with a malevolent fire that seemed to suck all the warmth from the world. A silent scream was trapped in Mohan's chest. This was no lost villager. This was the entity from the Elder's darkest warnings. Terror finally broke his paralysis. He spun around, his only thought to run, to get back to the safety of the village, to the world of the living. He scrambled through the undergrowth, branches tearing at his clothes, his own panicked breaths loud in his ears. But even over his own heartbeat he heard it. That same whispering voice, no longer distant and mournful, but right behind him, cold and filled with a sinister promise. "You disturbed my sleep." The voice was a chilling caress against the back of his neck. Mohan didn't dare look back. He just ran, fueled by pure, primal fear. But the whisper followed, a constant, horrifying presence. "Now, you will come with me." The lantern fell from his grasp, its light extinguished, plunging him into absolute darkness with only the terrifying whisper for company. Thank you so much for joining me on this chilling journey. What do you think happened to Mohan? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe, and always be careful what you seek in the dark.